So in this video, I'm going to fix background issues in interior scenes where you don't see the background outside the window, but rather you get sort of a black glass or some other problems. So I will show you once and for all how you can fix this issue. Let's go. Alright, so this scene is taken from the complete Sketchup and VRAY course for interior design, where you learn how to create, model and render a living room scene, a bathroom scene, kitchen scene and more right from scratch, even if you are a beginner. If you'd like to check out the course, head to the link in the description. Alright, so now let's run an interactive render for the scene and see how it looks. So this is after we've added the models, the materials, the lights and more. So I'm going to run an interactive render. Alright, so our scene looks decent. You can see that we have this nice bright white light outside the window, although we cannot see any background. But essentially when you take a photo inside an interior room, when there is a window in that photo, it is sort of burnt out. You cannot have the background as lit as the interior if the focus is on the interior when you're taking a photo. So this is how interior photography works. But some cases you do see some amount of background and we'll try to fix that. Now the first thing is to sort of replicate the problem the student is facing. So I'm going to stop the interactive render. Let's switch on denoiser here and let's switch off these two lights. So we have the sunlight, so you can switch off the sunlight, and let's switch off the environment light as well. So you can notice as soon as I switched off the environment light, we do not have a light outside the window, and this makes it dark and black in color. Now when I switch on the environment light, you can also reduce the intensity. So let's try 0.1. In this case, you can actually see the environment light colors outside the window, which is sort of blue, and then we have sort of this haze. You can also switch on the sunlight a bit. So if you're happy with this, you can go ahead with this as well. But generally, I like to have a better background for my window. So this is a quick fix for you in case you do not have the environment light on and the sunlight on, and make sure to always use a default values of 1, which gives you a decent effect. Now let's add a background to this window. So I'm going to close my VRAY frame buffer, or let's minimize it, and I'm going to draw a rectangle on the red axis. Now let's reverse the face as well. So let's select the face, right click and reverse, and let's add an image onto this face here. So I'm going to go to file, go to import. I'm going to select this image that I downloaded off the internet. It's a very clean background image where you have the foreground of grass, trees, some buildings and then a sky. So I'm going to select this image, use the texture option and click on import. Now let's place this image in the scene. So I'm just going to click once. Just going to place it a bit bigger than what it is. And we have our image in place. Now it's a good idea to add this image to the back face as well. So I'm going to use the bucket tool, sample this image and then add it to the back. So now it is added equally on both sides. Let's also make this a group. Alright, perfect. So now let's go to scene 2 and see how this looks. Now you can see that the image is not covering the entire window. So you can see this part is sort of empty. So let's move it in place. I'm going to select this and just move it out a bit like that. Alright, now you can adjust this image further after you run the VRAY interactive render. So let's go to our interactive render button here and let's run the interactive render. Alright, so now you can see that it made the scene a bit darker. The environment light was a bit brighter last time, so it sort of made it darker. So you'll need to adjust the materials of this image. What I will also do is I will switch on self illumination and the other rest, these two layers as well. So let's stop the interactive render. Let's adjust the material here. So I'm going to select this material. Let's go to our asset editor. So this is the material that we need to adjust. Let's click on edit in VRAY. So it converts it to a VRAY material. And let's add a emissive layer. So you can add it from here, add the emissive layer on top. And then I will copy this image and paste it on top of the emissive layer color. Let's use the default values for now. What I will also do is I will add something called the ray trace properties. So you can add it from here, add attribute and add the ray trace properties. Now what this does is you can disable cast shadows. So this way, this object here will not cast a shadow into your interior scene. So this is very important to know. Make sure you add the ray trace properties and switch off cast shadows. The remaining needs to be switched on because you need to see the background. Now let's go to scene 2 and let's run an interactive render. Alright, so now you can play around with the light mix settings here. So I'm going to increase the intensity of the self illumination. Let's make this 10. So now you can see that outside background becomes a bit brighter, and this is how it's supposed to look as well. So let's make it 15 or maybe 20. Right, perfect. We can increase the environment light a bit as well. So if I work well. Now I would like to adjust the position of this background. So I will move my VRAY frame buffer to the left a bit. And what I will do is, I will first lock the camera orientation, because if I orbit now, it will change the view in the V-Ray scene as well. So let's lock camera orientation. Now what we can do is just select this image and sort of move it a bit up and down. I would like to see the tree in the scene as well. So I will move it on the green axis a bit. And now you can see some tree in the foreground as well. How cool is that? Alright, and that's how you add a background to your window. And this is how it's supposed to look. You should make sure that you have some intensity to your light, because that's how it looks when you take a photo from the interior to the outside. Alright, so we have a nice background, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Please do subscribe if you like more such videos, and do join our course to learn how to create renders like these in SketchUp and VRAY. See you guys in the next video. Cheers.